Valley.
Terrific run there. Ran on very strongly towards the final stages. He's a horse that has won over the 2000 here at Flemington, and I gave him a good each-way chance in the race.
Number 4, Zero Limits, a bit like you, Jen. He's got a mind of his own, and Danny Nikolic is the rider for Lee Freedman, and finished way down the track at Geelong. And basically, well, they had a look. They couldn't really find anything wrong with him. They said he just gave it up.
Well, true, but this horse is more than capable on his day, and I think you could possibly see in some improvement in this horse. He can carry weight, so the 56 kilos shouldn't worry him, and he's certainly got to be left there with a chance. I don't think we can dismiss him on that last run.
Old Kiwi golfer number 6 is the 7-year-old Brian York, the rider for Pat Highland, and well, he looked good in winning at Sandown, and then he finished 7th in the race that Scalero won here, the Navy Day handicap.
Well, that race at Sandown, that was on a real leader's track there. He was a top liner, this horse, but he just hasn't recaptured his old form all that well, so this is a little bit tougher, maybe a place chance.
What about From the Park? He's only had the 2 runs back in, number 7. His last win was 3 runs ago, but that was almost 12 months back.
Well, he gets his chance to run a lot better here because he's well down in the weights with 52.5 kilos. I think he's there with an each-way chance at odds.
And you give Locum Tenens number 8 a bit of a chance, Neville Wilson, the rider?
Yes, this horse is fairly honest, and well, Ballarat, he just battled home there, but I think he probably found the 1600 metres too short. I think he's probably here with a very good each-way chance at nice odds.
And Pomcell continues to tighten up on the tote, number 12, to be ridden by Carl Simons. Well, the last start on paper, 8th of 11 in the Kyneton Cup, looks anything but good, but gee, it was a terrific run.
Fantastic run, and last year on Oaks Day, this horse won as a 3-year-old. Certainly got the ability, Barry, with 51 kilos here, very, very well in an excellent each-way chance.
Sum it up, Jen, race 2.
Well, number 12, Pomcell for me, from number 3, Sports Beat, and number 8, Locum Tenens.
Well, I've gone for Campaign Warrior, but I get the feeling that Jen's going to have a bit of a chat to me about that in the commercial break. They're on their way to the stalls for the Graysmith Stakes race number 2. We'll take a break and be back to Flemington very shortly. If you... Nissan Stakes Day, final day of the BRC Spring Carnival for 1995, and the starter is ordering the horses to be loaded up into the gates here for the Graysmith Stakes, over 2,000 metres, starting on the riverside. The scratchings are 10 Spanish Quest and 11 Renascent, leaving a field of 12 to start. Dan and Gary.
Thank you, Peter. They move in well, Gary.
They do. Gee, I like the look of number 2, Waikika-Mukau, Dan. I thought he looked very good.
He's only won 3 races from 40.
Well, today might be his day because he was certainly trotting out well, going down to do his preliminary.
Super Seigneur.
A jar out of the ground, I think, will suit him.
Couple of leaders in the race, Campaign Warrior, Super Seigneur, both like to sit on the speed. And the last one up will be Zero Limit. He's one of the popular fancies for the Melbourne Cup before his failure at Geelong.
Yes, he didn't have a lot of luck there.
Now they're all set for a start, all locked away. Racing now, Zero Limit, a little bit sluggish in his stride. Waikika-Mukau eased out the back with Seclude, Sports Speed and Locum Tenens early. The first out was Adonis, and now Super Seigneur going forward, and so was Campaign Warrior. Pomcell's racing very handy today from the Park, and then Kiwi Golfer. A length and a half back to Sports Speed, who's about midfield today on the inside of Placido and Seclude 3 deep. A length to Locum Tenens and Waikika-Mukau, and 2 lengths away Zero Limit. 1,500 metres to travel, and taking up the running now was a Campaign Warrior. As they run towards the 1,400 metre point, Super Seigneur, Campaign Warrior, the two are going to settle down in front. Super Seigneur the leader now. Campaign Warrior was second. 2 lengths away, Kiwi Golfer goes up third, and Adonis was fourth. 1.5 lengths to Pomcell from the Park, and a length to Placido, followed by Sports Speed on the inside of Seclude, and then Waikika-Mukau, Locum Tenens, and Zero Limit last of all. The pace is pretty good too, inside the 1,000, and the leader is Super Seigneur by a length and a half to Campaign Warrior, being asked to carry his 58 kilos to the limit. A length away third was Kiwi Golfers, had a nice run and now hooked away from the rail. 2.5 lengths to Adonis, a length and a half to Pomcell from the Park, Placido. Seclude wide, Sports Speed over on the inside, and then came Waikika-Mukau, and back to the tail of the field was Locum Tenens and Zero Limit. Kiwi Golfer goes up at the 650 to put pressure on Super Seigneur. That he does, and Kiwi Golfer took over. Campaign Warrior third, then came Pomcell, hooked out from behind those. Deep round on the track, Seclude as they turn for home, and then Adonis from the park. Waikika Mukau, Placido and Sport Speed. Into the straight at the 450. Kiwi Golfer being joined now by Pomcell. Pomcell got to the lead from Campaign Warrior, Kiwi Golfer. Waikika Mukau, Placido down the outside. Pomcell is the leader, Placido after it, then Campaign Warrior. Pomcell in front, Placido wearing it down the outside. Then Campaign Warrior, Locum Tenens. Placido took the lead from Pomcell, 100 to go, and Placido's drawing away from Pomcell. Placido wins, 3/4 to Pomcell, third Campaign Warrior, I think it knows, to Locum Tenens, and then Sport Speed, never a chance. Kiwi Golfer next, and then came Zero Limit. Waikika Mukau didn't go on with it, neither did From the Park, Super Seigneur, followed by Adonis and Seclude at the tail.
Well, he's been a tough campaigner, Dan, but he certainly went to the line very well today. There's a little bit of trouble in the straight just after they straighten up. Waikika Mukau had quite a bit of trouble. They had quite a bump in Jewel there. Here they are here. Now the horse leading with the blinkers. Waikika Mukau and the Cerise is right behind him. And at this stage he hasn't got a lot of room here. You can see the two horses here, there's no room. They're both sort of trying to get the one run. Greg Hall's in a bit of strife here. And the Cerise colours there, that horse inside gets chopped out of it. And you can see he didn't have a lot of room to get through. Now, three from the outside, and the corded cap is Placido, ridden by Paddy Payne, coming along at the right time. He goes to the line very well.
Yeah, it was indeed a good winner for Paddy too to get back in the winners list. Pomcell fought on pretty well. Gee, they quicken up the tempo. Kiwi Golfer really put the pressure on before the home turn.
Certainly did, and I thought Campaign Warrior's run was very good, Dan, because he had 58 kilos, and about the half mile when Kiwi Golfer put the pressure on, Michael Clark didn't want to go at that stage with the 58, and he sort of actually took a sit and let them go, and he still ran home pretty well.
Well, it wouldn't be the same without Paddy Payne riding a winner over the Carnival. He's taken a little while to warm up, but he's got a good book of rides today. Paddy Payne, welcome back with Johnny Letts.
Patrick, your first winner over the Carnival, and you had a nice run throughout on the horse.
Yeah, I had a nice run. I was midfield the whole way, and he won quite nicely.
And Danny Nikolic, I see, was down to ride the horse, Patrick, and it was a pickup ride for you Thursday night.
Yeah, that's right. When Zero Limit became available to Danny, he decided to ride it, so I was lucky enough to pick up the ride.
And you've got a good book of rides later in the day, Patrick?
They look a nice book of rides, so hopefully we can end off the Carnival after a slow start well.
Well, it wouldn't be the same, the Melbourne Cup Carnival out without P. Payne's name being up in the winner's board a couple of times. Good luck for the rest of the Carnival, Patrick.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Letzi and Paddy Payne there on Placido. Well, they call him the Iron Horse from New Zealand, this horse, Pete Donegan. Placido, remember that stage? I think he had 5 runs in about 14 days, won a Warrnambool Cup, one in town. He's now trained by Gary Lee, and he's a permanent Victorian-trained horse now, Placido.
Yes, Gary, congratulations. Good, tough win.
It was, Peter. Yes, he's a tough horse.
Yeah, Dan just mentioned when he had 5 runs in the space of about 14 days, he obviously takes the work.
When he first came over from New Zealand, the chap that was training him then, Neville Cowles, he backed him up that time. I said, you're giving him plenty of racing. He said, I'm here on holiday, not the horse. And it certainly proved it. He's a tough little horse. We give the horse a chance in the Kyneton Cup on Wednesday, and he didn't have much luck, and he come through the race well, and so we backed him up today.
Just keeps on going at the one bat, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's you know, for an entire in his age, he does well. Yeah, very
well, you've done well too. Good on you, Gary.
Thanks, Peter.
Gary Lee, the winning trainer, was the Placido in race 2. The one that we thought might have a chance at odds. Pomcell certainly ran a race for you, and Old Campaign Warrior kept on battling away. So the numbers there, 5, 12 and 1. Officially 4th was number 8, and that was Locum Tenens, and officially 5th, number 6, Kiwi Golfer. Time for the second, 2.9. Back with correct weight and the divvies on the Graysmith in a moment.
Family Day at Flemington. Nissan Stakes Day it is. We're after correct weight from Mr. Lawler. Everything going according to plan today, and I would think there's absolutely no trouble with VRC getting their record today. I'd suggest there's probably, thank you, Pat, approaching 30,000 here already. There's correct weight. Time for the divvies on the second. Here's Dan.
Thank you, Tim. Placido, $16.30 and $4.60. Defeated Pomcell, $3.50, and Campaign Warrior, $3.30. Quinella paid $115.10. The trifecta, $2,178.40, and the race-to-race double, $152.90. The numbers being 5, 12 and 1, and the time for that race, Tim, it was 2 minutes 2.9.
Ooh. Dan, is the track still officially dead?
It is, Tim. It is dead. I suppose if we wanted to go into the specifics, it would be on the better side of dead.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Closer to good.
All right, thank you, mate. Richard Zachariah is once again ready down on the lawn in front of the members. Here he is.
The Graysmith Stakes is a time-honoured race, and to introduce connections is Senior BRC Committee man, Mr. Keith Southwick.
Thank you. Hearty welcome on this, our great final day, and the sun is peeping through. The time-honoured listed race you've just witnessed is named after one of our great chairmen of the past, Sir Ross Graysmith, who served with great distinction for many years. The win of the great win of Placido that you've just witnessed, unfortunately is not to be witnessed by the owner, Mrs. Fiona Campbell, who's in New Zealand. She bred the horse. No doubt she'd be greatly thrilled if she'd been here to watch it. However, our congratulations go out to her and to her trainer, Gary D. Lee from Mornington, well known to all of us, turned the horse out in fine fettle, and to jockey who rode a superb race. I'll ask Gary Lee to come forward to accept this very fine trophy on behalf of Mrs. Fiona Campbell.
All right, thank you very much indeed. Presentations for the second, as Richard said, time-honoured race here, the Graysmith, and so is the next one. It's the Maribyrnong Plate for the 2-year-olds, but I'd just like to mention to all of my commentary team that it probably would be a good idea to have a little bit of class, because if it's named after that opera singer, the horse's name is Placido. Placido, not Placido.
Well, it's actually Placido. P-L-A-C-H-I-D-O.
All right.
That's the Spanish. But it's easier to say Placido.
Thanks very much, Manuel.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Mr. Faulty. Now, here's the tote call on the third with Dan Malicki.
Thanks, guys. $2.50 for Flavour. Victory Dash at $3.40. Apple Danish at $6.90. The Hollywood Fred $12.50. En Costa Delago $7.60. Oz Rock at $56.20. Samadera $20. And Tennessee Spirit $13.40.
Dan, and 8 running here. Flavour, well, that translate to 6-4, those odds, as the tote favourite. But, Jen, we've got 8 runners here. One's having its first start. The others have had 11 starts between them, and collectively they've won 8 races, so it's a very strong race.
Very strong race, and it's a very tricky one too, Pete, because these horses only had a few runs between them, and there's many, many chances. Of course, we've got the Western Australian horse as well, which is very, very hard to line up his form, but he has been very impressive over there. I like number 5 in Costa de Lago from the Freedman stable. This horse, I think, was probably beaten by the speed at Caulfield, and stepping up to the 1100 metres is going to suit him today. Number 1, Flavour, 2 runs, 2 wins, both been most impressive. And number 2, Victory Dash, the Perth horse, I must say you've got to probably consider him in this race, that's for sure, on what he's done so far.
I'm like you, Jen. In Costa de Lago is a horse that finished 3rd at Caulfield, and it was only in the last 100 metres or so that he really got going, and I think trained here that he's going to be very hard to beat, number 5, but a terrific race. That's the third, the Bobby McGee's Maribyrnong Plate, coming up at 1:25. Tim Webster.
Thank you very much, PD. Yes, it really is a difficult day to try and pick some winners here, that's for sure. Nissan Stakes Day, but there's a lot of people here and everyone's having a lot of fun, so if you're still considering in Melbourne to come down and visit us, please do that, because as we just said in the presentations, the weather is getting better as we speak. We'll take a break. Thanks.
Taste that's out of the ordinary. Strongbow white and lemon white.
There are now even more reasons for connecting to natural gas hot water. You'll enjoy its instant heat, its amazing efficiency, while still enjoying its economical benefits. Natural gas hot water. It's always there when you need it 24 hours a day. Call your natural gas hot water specialist today and find out how you can have more hot water.
The Hellenic Club of Canberra is proud to present Theodorakis. Theodorakis performing one night only with a 31-piece Melbourne orchestra. Don't miss the internationally renowned composer of Zorba the Greek at the Royal Theatre Convention Centre, November 22, 1995. Theodorakis. Tickets available from all Ticketek outlets and the Hellenic Club Woden.
Frank. Hi, I'm Frank. And who's on top of the biggest catalogue of November savings? Frank. It's full of super discounts, so who do you see for big November savings? Frank.
She's talented. Sexy.
I thought you might want a little something to nibble on before bed.
She looks like a famous blonde.
A pair of faucets.
She's Fran's pushy sister.
Good morning, everyone.
Causing sibling rivalry. And if she's not enough entertainment,
A kissing contest.
check out these kissing cousins.
Surprise, surprise.
Achy Breaky Billy guest stars.
If Emily Bronte married you, her name would be Brontosaurus.
In an hour of The Nanny, 7:30 Wednesday.
The black rhinoceros is territorial and can be aggressive. It averages a hefty 1,400 kilograms, stands between 3 and 4 metres long, and has a horn extending almost 1.5 metres. The black rhino will not knowingly tolerate humans in its presence. Still, that's no excuse to kill the species off. In 1970, there were over 65,000 black rhinos in Africa. Today, a market for the rhino horn has brought down numbers to barely 3,000. In an effort to conserve the breed, the International Black Rhinoceros Foundation was formed, uniting the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe with New South Wales and United States conservation institutions. A breeding complex has been developed at Western Plains Zoo. Recently, rhinos were brought from Zimbabwe. By visiting Western Plains Zoo, you can help save the black rhinoceros.
Western Plains Zoo and 10 Capital, committed to the survival of endangered exotic species.
Champions saddle up, where you can win a fortune or lose everything you own, for the honor and the glory, just to see your horse come home. They have come from dear old Ireland, all across the ocean wide. Some will come from England, or maybe wear the stars and stripes, for the champion of champions, who can stay 2 miles and win. For this Aussie Cup, let's hold it up, and may the best horse win. It's a 2-mile race, you face the fame and glory.
A song about the Melbourne Cup from that CD there, Norma O'Hara Murphy. The CD is called Sweet Rain, and it really is a nice song. Nice CD. In fact, we've been playing it around the office a bit this week. Well done, Norma. That is a nice CD. Murray Louise is in our marquee with a jest or two.
Thanks, Tim. Well, Stakes Day is traditionally the day when families come out and parents bring their children. But today, I have a child here without his parents. Well, not so much a child. Welcome Matthew Newton, son of Paddy and Bird. Welcome.
Hi, Lois.
You having a great day?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great.
Now, I believe you've taken a little bit of time off from rehearsals because you're currently rehearsing for Into the Woods. Is that right?
Yeah, I am. We're doing, we started a couple of days ago. We're doing a month of rehearsals, and then we open on the 7th, our first preview.
Now, for those viewers who haven't heard of the Sondheim musical Into the Woods, tell us a little bit about it, because it's quite a quirky concept, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's basically sort of fairy tales for adults, and it's all about all the fairy tales intermixed, and they sort of all meet and everything goes wrong, and it's very funny. It's very Sondheim.
So which character are you?
I'm playing Jack, as in Jack and the Beanstalk, so it's good. And there's the baker and, you know, the Little Red Riding Hood and Rapunzel and Cinderella and everything, so it's very fun.
And is Jack essentially a good guy or a bad guy?
Jack is a good guy, but he's a little stupid, or a little naive, I should say, and so therefore he can be a little selfish, but I think he's essentially a good person.
Now, Matthew, you are only 18 years old. That's right, isn't it? And you've already established yourself in this career path. Is this where you want to go? Do you want to pursue this? Yeah, acting is definitely where it lies, I think.
I mean, that's what I want to pursue. Singing's great too. It's good to have. That's why musicals are the perfect thing, I think, for an actor who sings, because it's the perfect marriage.
Because you've had actually a lot of singing gigs, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done lots of jazz stuff this year in the sort of the Melbourne jazz area.
So just quickly, the Into the Woods will be playing in the Botanic Gardens. When does that kick off?
Kicks off the 7th of December as the first preview, and opening night a couple of weeks after that. So
it should be beautiful. Well, Tim, there's one to remember if you want some beautiful outdoor entertainment over Christmas. Into the Woods in the Botanic Gardens.
Thanks, Mary-Louise. No surprise to me that young man ended up in entertainment, because his dad is without a doubt one of the all-time pros in the television business. Well, you know, this is a little story about the winner of the last, and in the long run, only one thing can ever beat Paddy Payne: the scales of injustice. Increasing weight is decreasing his opportunities in the saddle, but his gifts remain.
Born to be a jockey. In the case of Patrick Payne, you better believe it.
I think because my family's so involved with racing, my sister's rode in races and my dad's a horse trainer, I think Dad would probably disown us if we weren't jockeys. So it was so easy for me to get into it, and I loved horses and loved the idea of being a jockey, so it was easy for me to get into it.
The Payne family have been amazing racegoers for years, and never more so than in November last year, when 5 of 10 brothers and sisters, Therese, Marie, Bernadette, Patrick and Andrew, set an Australian record by riding together in the same race at Ballarat.
But Peach Moon as well feels got a shot to pieces for Pat Payne, and Peach Moon wins written hand.
To the amazement of no one, it was Patrick, better known as Paddy, who won that day, as he has done so many times in a short career, already notable for him becoming the youngest jockey to ever outride his claim. His fellow riders are in no doubt that bigger records await.
I'd sort of consider him a classic jockey. Has all the attributes: beautiful hands on a horse, excellent patience, and just epitomises perfection.
Well, in fact, there's so many jocks that do that. Paddy's certainly one of them. I had a quiet one with Wayne Harris last night. Oh, there's a face for you. Good on you, Louis. I knew he'd be here. Lou Richards giving, who's that? Ray Swanee a serve. So you can get some money off him. What's he sticking on there? Was it $10 or $50? What colour was it? It wouldn't be his. It wouldn't be his. Tell him you said that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to update some sport for you. 10 Summer of Sport, and let's have a look what's going on. Okay, heaps of sport on. The NRG, of course, Nova Sport Adventure, which I love. Blue Water Dreaming, one of the great shows. Miller baseball action, the Blues versus the Hunter Eagles. The Pepsi Max Extremists, that's my little mate Amanda DePledge. Sydney Triathlon World Cup, so it's all happening on the Summer of Sport here on the 10 Network. And, of course, all of that is tomorrow on the 10 Network. Look forward to. All right, let's go racing. Because I have a little table full of food that you don't get up here, Peter, like apple Danish in this.
Oh, do you? Yeah, it's a very open race. I'll tell you what, there's a few chances in this, Tim. The Bobby McGee's Maribyrnong Plate and the sun coming out, so it's a beautiful day now.
It's actually turned out beautiful, hasn't it, Pete? Because there's a few clouds in the sky, but it doesn't look threatening at this stage, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be a lovely day for the rest of it.
You know what's going to happen now, you've said that, don't you?
Yes.
Let's go through these runners. In the third race, they're in the mounting yard now. Number 1 is Flavour, trained by John Hawkes, has had the 2 starts for 2 wins, a winner here at Flemington when it led up and then settled second and ran home very strongly at Moonee Valley.
Yes, well, she came down the outside on that occasion and she was just too strong for her opposition then, and she was very impressive at Moonee Valley, just far too good for her field. I think she's going to be quite hard to beat here. He's got plenty of weight, 58 kilos, a lot of weight to have to carry, but all the same, you can't fault his form.
And the way he went to the post at Moonee Valley, the extra 100 metres won't be a worry. Number 2 is Victory Dash, to be ridden by Paul King, this horse over from Western Australia, and interestingly, Jen, has won the 2 starts, but last start won by 10 lengths, was only a field of 4, but started 25 to 1 on.
Well, some controversy about the time that this horse did run there, and 10 lengths, I have been told that this horse was eased down to the line, so quite possibly could have won by more. Started at 20 to 1 on, and they actually backed it from 20 to 1 on into 25 to 1 on, which is amazing. So this horse has got plenty of ability, just very hard to line him up against some of these others.
Must have been the bank tellers at the races that day. Take a few samples on the weekend.
Yes.
Number 3 is Apple Danish, Brian York rides, and another one, 2 starts, 2 wins.
Yes, led throughout to win at Randwick. That was 2 starts ago, of course, and then a last start winner at Caulfield in the Debutante Stakes, over 900. Stepping up to the 1,100 metres here, probably a little bit tougher for him. I'd say maybe a place chance in this.
4 is Hollywood Fred, to be ridden by Richard Jolly, trained in Adelaide, has had the 1 start and 1 win, so we haven't seen one that's been beaten yet.
No, and this horse had to work quite hard early in that race, kicked clear and kept going quite strongly towards the line. A little bit tougher for him, but a possible chance in the race.
This is the first one that has been beaten in a race, but gee, was it an impressive performance. Number 5 in Costa de Lago, to be ridden by Glenn Boss, trained by Lee Freeman and based at Caulfield, and I thought the way he ran home the other day was very, very impressive.
Terrific, really, wasn't it? He was midfield on the turn and he really flew towards the end of the race. 1,100 metres definitely looks as if it will suit him, and I've put him in there with a very good each-way chance.
We don't really know anything about Ozrock. Number 6 is having its first start, to be ridden by Pat Trotter.
Well, all I can tell you about Ozrock is the fact that the mother, Divine Favour, the mother has had a horse in the past called Darling, who was a very good sprinter, and so bred to sprint, and we're going to just have to watch the betting on Ozrock, number 6.
Samadera, number 7, 1 start, 1 win in the very strong Peter Hayes stable, and to be ridden by Greg Hall.
Well, this horse worked hard early at Murray Bridge and was just too good for his opposition there. It's a little bit tougher, possibly a place chance in this.
Probably hard to see the bottom one on its last performance, Jen. Tennessee Spirit figuring in the race here, but did run 3rd at Flemington behind Flavour.
Yeah, nice debut at Flemington, Pete, and then a little bit disappointing at Caulfield. He raced off the pace there and didn't really run on over the final stages. So on his Caulfield performance, you'd have to say he's got to be hard to be on.
I'm quite keen about in Costa de Lago here, Jen, in what is a tough race.
I agree with you, Pete. I think he's got a terrific chance from number 1, Flavour, and number 2, Victory Dash.
So there you have it, the 3rd race on the card, and the riders just getting up now on these 2-year-olds. Good crowd. And they're all pretty well behaved in the mounting yard, which is important for the 2-year-olds to make sure that they're not being upset by the race day atmosphere. Here's the tote call now, and let's see what punters are doing on the 3rd race with Dan.
Okay, tote punters are doing this, Pete. They've got Flavour favourite from Victory Dash, $2.90 and $3.30 respectively. The filly Apple Danish at $6.80. Hollywood Fred at $12.50. En Costa de Lago still at a bit of value there at $5.80 and $1.60. Ozrock at $53. Samadera $19.40. And Tennessee Spirit at $15, and yet it started favourite at its last start. So field of 8, tricky race, but some very impressive individuals. Flavour just ahead of Victory Dash at the moment on the tote. They're the equivalent to bookmakers' prices. In Costa de Lago, 3rd pick, but with the opportunity of improving in the ring. I'm sure it's a different scene down in the betting ring for many reasons, but particularly with the prices for this event. Hello, Tim Gossage.
Thanks very much, Dan. Yes, as you did say, the money has come for in Costa de Lago. As you said, about $5.60 on the tote. You can forget about that down here, much shorter. It's almost $1. You might get a couple more back if you have a bet on in Costa de Lago. Flavour, not too many wanted it. Punters took a while to come for any of these horses. Flavour did open favourite, has drifted alarmingly. And Victory Dash, the horse from Western Australia, being kept very safe. The wraps on it are enormous, and they do say that it's going to be a very big chance. apple Danish and flavour. It could be the Quinella.
Well, we just saw the Melbourne Cup winning jockey, Damien Oliver, over there with the arm in the sling after breaking his collarbone here after falling off Chiricahua on Thursday, and we'll be talking to him a little bit later on in the day. There's Damien, big smile as the horses go to the gates for race number 3, and the map shows them running almost from the top of the straight, 1,100 metres here. That'll suit a couple of them. In Costa del Lago is going to be one and Flavour's going to be another. There are the tips. Jen and myself for in Costa del Lago, Apple Danish for John Ledson, Victory Dash for Roy Higgins. So only a field of 8, but any number of chances. They're going up to the stalls now for the running of the 3rd. We'll be back to Flemington shortly. You're watching Network 10's live and exclusive coverage of Nissan Stakes Day, the final day of the Great Carnival at Flemington.